I never believed there were places the world avoided. Places that didn't appear on maps, that people spoke about only in whispers, if at all. But grief makes a person reckless, and when my mother died, I followed her past like a ghost chasing its own shadow. She had left behind a house in a forest village named Dariel, a place she never spoke of but never legally severed herself from. And I, looking for silence, looking for anything to numb the weight inside me, went there. The bus left me at a dirt road, and a jeep carried me the last miles through thick woods where the trees grew too closely, their branches tangled like hands woven to hide something. When the jeep stopped at the village's stone gate, the driver didn't look at me. He kept his eyes fixed on the dark tree line and simply said, "Be indoors before midnight. No matter what you hear." Then he drove away without waiting for a response. That should have been enough for me to leave. But grief blinds. I crossed the gate and entered Dariel alone. The village was small. Wooden houses leaned into one another, as if afraid to stand alone. Smoke curled from chimneys. Chickens roamed near the wells. It looked peaceful, almost untouched by time. But the silence was wrong. Not calm. Suppressed. Like the village was constantly holding its breath. My mother's house was at the edge of the forest. A small slanted roof home with painted shutters and a porch that creaked when I stepped on it. The key was still under a stone flower pot. The door still opened easily. Inside nothing was abandoned. The floors were swept. The furniture was dusted. Sheets were clean. Someone had been caring for the house. For years. Maybe decades. But no one knew I was coming. That night I lit a lantern, lay in the small bedroom, and listened. First there was only silence. Then a knock. Not from the front door. From the window beside my bed. 3 slow knocks. My breath froze. The window faced the forest. No path, no ground, just a drop in trees. No one could be there. But the knocking continued. I forced myself to look. In the glass, I saw only my reflection, my own frightened eyes, until something else appeared behind it. In Adolite. A figure standing unnaturally close outside in the dark. Its face was wrong. Not monstrous. Just empty. No expression. No movement, except its hand slowly rising and pressing against the window. I couldn't scream. I couldn't move. It leaned closer, its head tilting too far, as though bones didn't restrict it. I blew out the lantern. Darkness swallowed everything. The shape faded. The knocking stopped. And the forest fell silent again. The next morning I found footprints below the window. Not human. Not animal. Something that didn't understand what shape it was supposed to be. I walked into the village square, heart still pounding. People were gathered now, but their eyes avoided mine. They looked weary, hollowed, like sleep had been forbidden to them for years. An elderly woman selling bread stopped when she saw me. "You are Sahira's son," she whispered. I nodded. "You knew my mother." Her hands shook. "We all knew her. We all know what followed her." My skin prickled. "What do you mean?" She didn't answer. She only said the words I had already heard. "Be inside at night. And if you hear someone call your name, do not answer." I tried to ask more, but every villager I approached looked away. Some crossed themselves. Some closed their doors. Some simply whispered. She left. The woods did not forgive her. That afternoon I searched the house. In the attic, beneath old quilts and a chest of winter clothes, I found a box with my mother's handwriting. "Do not open. Not after dusk." I opened it anyway. Inside were letters. Dozens of them. All unopened. I didn't know who had written them, but I knew they were meant for her. The first letter read, "Sahira, it has started again. The forest is moving. Do not return. And do not let it find your son." The second, "No matter what voice calls from the woods, do not look. Do not answer. Do not step foot outside." The third, "Remembers you. And it wants him." My blood ran cold. Night came too fast. The sun didn't set, it disappeared. Like it was swallowed. The house darkened. The trees outside no longer looked like trees, just a wall of living black. I locked every door, closed every curtain, lit every candle. But when midnight came, the forest woke. I heard whispering. Not wind, not leaves, voices, hundreds of them, calling my name. My mother's voice among them. Arhen, come outside, please. Covered my ears. Curled on the floor. I told myself this was grief, trauma, memory. Then something scratched the door. Low. Deliberate. Like fingers dragging across the wood. I didn't move. I didn't breathe. Then I heard her voice again. Closer now. Through the keyhole. Open the door, my son. My heart broke. Sounded exactly like her. Her tone. Her softness. Her warmth. But something in the voice was hungry. I whispered, unable to stop myself. Amy! The voice exhaled. Too long. Too deep. Not breathing. Savoring. Then it spoke again, this time wrong. What? Crack. Smiling through sound. Let me in. The door shook. Violently. As though something massive slammed into it from the outside. The windows rattled. The walls groaned. The candles flickered. Just as suddenly. Silence. Complete. A suffocating silence. I didn't sleep. I waited in that silence until the sky turned gray. At dawn, the village finally spoke to me. A man named Rahim knocked on my door. His face was tired. His shoulders heavy. He didn't ask if I had heard anything. He knew I had. He took me to the oldest house in the village. Inside, the walls were covered in carvings. Symbols, runes, marks of protection. At the center was a wooden mask with no eyes, only carved ears. Rahim spoke quietly, as though the shadows were listening. There is something in these woods, older than us, older than language, cannot be seen in daylight, cannot enter homes uninvited. But at night, it speaks with the voices of those we grieve. My mother, I whispered. He nodded slowly. Your mother didn't leave this village by choice. Ran. And by running, she drew its attention. When she had you, it marked you too. My chest tightened. Why? Asked. What does it want? Rahim's face hollowed with dread. It wants you to answer. To step outside. To leave your refuge. To go to it willingly. That is the only way it can take someone. And if I don't? Rahim looked toward the woods. Then it will wait. It has been waiting for you since before you were born. That night I did not try to sleep. I sat in the silent house. Candles burning. Heart pounding. The first whisper came at 12:01 a.m. Patient. Arhen. Closed my eyes. Then another voice joined. A voice I hadn't heard in years. My father's. He had died when I was 6. Drowned in a river. I remembered his laughter. The roughness of his hands. The warmth of his chest when he held me. Arhen, it's me. My throat closed. He spoke again, voice trembling like he was crying. I didn't leave you. I never would have left you. Please, just open the door. Let me see you. Tears spilled from my eyes. Don't, I whispered to myself. It's not him. But grief is a knife. Memory is a wound. Loneliness is a hunger. And the house suddenly felt too small. Like the air was being pulled out of it. Their voices filled every wall. Every crack. My father. My mother. Voices of relatives I barely remembered. Even my own voice. Begging to be let out. The door handle turned. Not from my side. From the outside. Low. Testing. Inviting. My heart slammed against my ribs. And then, understood. It didn't need my fear. Needed my hope. If I believed it could really be them, I would open the door. I would walk into the woods. I would vanish. Just like my mother tried to prevent. Just like everyone who ever left this village. Just like the villagers who stopped speaking about it. Just like the footprints beneath my window. Just like the whispers that never lost patience. Just like the thing waiting in the dark. I fell to my knees and sobbed. I won't go with you, I whispered. The voices stopped. The wind died. Something stood outside. Silent. Listening. It spoke without using any voice at all. Not sound. Not echo. Just words inside my mind. You will. I left Daryl at sunrise. I didn't pack. I didn't look back. I walked until my legs burned, until my lungs hurt, until I saw other people, other cars, other life. The world outside was bright, loud, normal. I live in the city again now. Among noise. Among crowds. Among people who don't know silence can breathe. But every night at 12:01 a.m., I hear knocking on my window. And a voice calling softly. Come home. I don't answer. I don't look. I don't breathe. Because I know the rule. Few answer once. You belong to them forever.